Hi, everyone. This is Aryanna Prasad with FanSided, and today I'm here with Darren Waller. He is a leading NFL tight end who plays for the Las Vegas Raiders, made the 2020 Pro Bowl. Darren is also committed to supporting recovery journeys with his Comeback Stories podcast and as a brand ambassador for Icy Hot. So, Darren, I have to ask you, to represent a brand, you really have to believe in the product, right? So I want you to tell me about a time when Icy Hot helped you to step up your game.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Icy Hot is something that I've used even before partnering with them. Being in the NFL, you have to have a healthy pain management routine just because of the violence and the impact of the game on a day-to-day and a week-to-week basis. So that's something that I put on my knees, on my ankles, and it helps me, it gives me that cold feeling for practice. And then as time goes along and gets warm, it helps me keep my joints warm for longer periods of time. So it's something that I've been utilizing. So for me to be able to partner with them is a match made in heaven.
Yeah, and it makes sense that all these great athlete collaborations that they're doing and everyone uses it in their game. So you're at the top of the game as one of the league's best tight ends, but in 2021, you were also named a team captain, and then you became the Raiders' Walter Payton Award nominee. How does your commitment to the game translate to the locker room, especially during off-season training?
I feel like my commitment to the game has to be in all aspects and has to start with just building relationships with my teammates. And putting forth the example of I'm going to show up and work a certain way and set a certain standard every single day. And there's not going to be any areas in which I slack off or try to look for a shortcut. And that's what I feel like my teammates respect about me as a leader, just a sense of urgency to take advantage of every single day just because of what has happened to me off the field in my personal life. And so with that translating, I feel like other guys see it, younger guys see it, and they start to buy in more and see the way guys like Carr and Hunter Renfro's and Max Crosby's work as well. But yeah, I try to be the best, most positive version of myself every single day and tell guys, it's about progress over perfection at the end of the day.
Well, and I know that you made such a difference this past year. In addition to your teammates, you had the leadership of team leaders yourself, Derek Carr, and Coach Bisaccia. So the Raiders, turned their season, not to say turn their season around. Y'all had a great season and then made the playoffs, which was incredible. So how did you see, your coaches and teammates step up in the face of adversity this past year?
I'm very impressed and honored to be a part of that team last year, just from all the things that took place with Coach Gruden and Henry. And a lot of guys that meant a lot to this team getting injured and other guys having to step up. So especially with Coach Bisaccia, him and other coaches on the staff, they have been with Gruden for a long time. He's been their leader. And for him to kind of, fall to the side, they had to step up and, face some anxiety and a little bit of fear in their own right, but they conquered it. And at the same time, were fully invested in the guys that were on the team. It wasn't about them or their egos or what they could get out of it. It was about the team. And that's what I love the most. Even the guys that stepped in and stepped up and played, it was a team thing. Everybody cared about each other. The bonds and the relationships were there, and that's why that team was so special to be a part of.
Certainly. And I think it was the thank you notes that Coach Bisaccia was writing after this season. Do you feel like that it was exactly who he was? Didn't surprise you at all?
Yeah, he had been doing that. That wasn't something that he did, to gain any type of publicity. That's just the kind of guy he is. He sends me, quotes from books in the morning, and he still does. He's not a coach on our team anymore. He's just that kind of guy that cares about you and your mind and your spirit first and foremost, and wants to let you know that he cares about you before he cares about the result that you bring him on the football field. He's a special man.
That sounds like it. And I've seen even on your Instagram, you've quoted verses and things that mean a lot to you. Is there any phrase maybe that he sent you or just right now in your life that you just feels like really is speaking to your moment right now?
It's hard to pinpoint one, but we always just talk about, my journey, and then him and Max will always sit down and just talk about, how difficult it is because he's seen, people in his family go through what we've gone through. So it's really just a one day at a time mentality that we've all kind of bought into. And it's like, the results will figure themselves out the way that they're supposed to, but how we handle each and every moment and approach everything that we do is, what will put us in a position to succeed.
Most certainly. And one thing that I think will help you out succeed next year is that you have Josh McDaniels now, which is, really exciting. And so, we saw with the Patriots what he did with Rob Gronkowski and his use of tight ends. So what are you excited about with McDaniels and how he's used tight ends in the past and, what he's done with Rob Gronkowski and others?
I'm very excited about the way that Coach McDaniels is going to challenge me and the rest of the tight end room. You see with guys like Gronkowski, the way that he puts them in matchup positions to, take advantage of those people that are matched up that can't really cover him. Getting opportunities to catch intermediate passes and get yards after the catch, to catch deep passes down the field over the middle and on the outside. So there's a lot of different elements, and he challenges you to learn so many different things so that it's hard for a defense to game plan for you or game plan and say you're going to do these certain things. If you do a lot of things well, and within the offense, then it's going to be great and it's going to be fun for not only me, but for all the guys that get to make plays.
Certainly. I'm really excited. And speaking of that, you've got you, and then of course, Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, and Josh Jacobs, all in the offense, Derek Carr as your quarterback. So what can we expect from your team and teammates in the coming months?
In the coming months, just building chemistry, learning how, we have so many weapons now that, how do we use them? How do we get people involved? How do we, create a rhythm within our offense? And that's what we're going to be working on over these next few months, because we're going to keep continuing to grow as individual players and collectively as we continue to learn this new system and go out there and give our best effort. That's what's going to allow us to, translate the product to the field that people are expecting from us.
Certainly. And even though you've got all these new additions, right, and people have been drafted and all these people coming in, but Derek Carr's been there since 2014, honestly been underrated in the NFL, right? So I want to know, he's lauded for his leadership, and we saw that this past year, but what are his best qualities at quarterback? Let's shout him out.
DC, the first word that comes to my mind is resilience. I think he's played in every game since 2014, just through the teams that have succeeded and done well to teams that haven't done as well. He's still been the same guy. I've been there with him when the records weren't good and the records have been good. He's still the same guy that cares about guys on an individual basis before, he, is ready to jump down somebody's throat about what they did or what they did wrong. It's always, he's got your back. He's not going to air you out. He's not going to blame you or anything like that. He's somebody that's going to step up and lead the team and say what needs to be said, challenge people when they need to be challenged. And just as a quarterback, he's accurate, very intelligent at the line of scrimmage, checking to different plays when the defense gives us a certain look. So he's a real student of the game and very talented.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see how everything comes together this year. It'll be a lot of changes, and then, people who have been there, all of it coming together. So, but, you've been doing things off the field as well. So your Comeback Stories podcast, I'm really interested in this. It offers inspirational tales about the recovery journey. So, you inspire so many people with your journey in the NFL and in your life and, just being a professional athlete. So I wanted to know, is there a particular story that inspires you?
Oh, man, it's hard to pinpoint one, to be honest. My co-host for the podcast, his name is Donnie Starkins. His story, just from us connecting and becoming friends, his recovery journey is inspiring to me. We've interviewed Inky Johnson, a motivational speaker that lost his arm. His story is amazing. Andre Norman is someone we interviewed. He went from prison to, not only going to Harvard, but teaching at Harvard. And then you look at guys like Max Crosby, Jordan Poyer, guys in the league that, that have gotten sober and are, walking a similar path as me. And, you just see them and see how they're thriving, how much they're enjoying life. It just inspires me to keep going on the path that I'm on, because I see that it works. I see that it's, helping other people and helping them grow to be their best selves. So I take inspiration from so many different people and all their different walks of life and how they respond to adversity. And, it's just it's a beautiful thing to be involved with people like that.
It is. And I really appreciate you from your perspective, putting on that podcast that, that it's just so informed from your perspective, but then allowing all these other people to come and tell their stories. So, and speaking of storytelling, you're also a musician. I think that's very cool. And I know you've been building your music career, and you have a song with Max Crosby, which is all very, very cool. Love that. But recently I saw that you dedicated a song to legendary NFL wideout Demaryius Thomas. So I want you to talk to me about that. What inspired you to write that song?
His death came toward the end of last season. And I remember just seeing that. I'm just like, wow, I think he might be 4 years older than me when he died. And it's just like, it had me thinking about, what's really important in life. What are things that I worry about that I really don't need to worry about in the grand scheme of things if I only had a day or a week to live, And so it really just got me, my pen just started moving. Like, I can't even tell you how if I have a creative process or anything, like that song just came about just from me thinking and just meditating on, his life and the impact that he had on his teams and the people around him, and just the state of Georgia. And we went to the same college, so that song just came from that, just raw thoughts and emotions.
Yeah, well, and something really beautiful came out of that. And I'm so thankful that you were able to share that with the rest of us, because I think that even with seeing the passing of Dwayne Haskins, it's difficult for all of us to see that. And we're all, grieving and seeing that. And then, you as a player imagining, well, I'm not so far removed from that. And they had such a similar life and path to me. So it had just had kind of surreal. Yeah. But also, so you have this musical career, you're doing this podcasting. It all makes sense that you went to the NFL broadcasting boot camp. I saw you there with quite a few other players, which is awesome. So can we expect to see you on TV after you hang up your cleats? What is the plan here with broadcasting?
It's a possibility for sure. I learned a lot and gained a new respect for the people that call games, that do studio analysis, do podcasting, do interviews, just going through a little bit of their daily grind and how they prepare and how they, get themselves mentally ready to call games and, talk about certain topics, analyze the game. It's something that I felt natural at, something I feel like I can step into and share my knowledge and share my experiences on the platform. So it's something that I have a newfound interest in, and I definitely want to pursue it.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see it. I really hope that we get to see you on TV. I love listening to you with the podcast. Yeah, of course. So I want to play a fun little game with you called Icy Hot. So I'm going to ask you a question. And if you agree with me, I want you to say that it's hot. But if it's icy, then it's a freezing cold take. You're not cool with it. Okay. So let's get started. So since Georgia won the national championship this year, they're officially winning that rivalry with Georgia Tech.
Oh, man. I mean, I guess I have to go hot. Like, I can't argue that. Like, Georgia Tech is, hasn't been performing to the way that they want to perform in the last few years. And Georgia has been killing it. So I really can't refute that, to be honest.
Okay, I knew it could go either way with that one. So I completely hear you there. All right, NFL players can't spit bars.
It's very icy, extremely icy.
All right, perfect. Yes, you are living proof. All right, so the Raiders won free agency this year.
I'm going hot. I love the guys that we picked up. I love the impact they're going to have immediately. I'm saying hot. I'm going with my guys.
Love it. Okay. Up. All right. The AFC West is now the toughest division in football.
Scalding hot. I mean, scalding hot. Look at who got picked up on the teams in our division. I think it's a no-brainer.
Definitely. And that's good and bad for you. The Raiders are so good, but the other teams are too. It'll be a fun year.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So 2 tight end sets are underutilized in NFL playbooks. Icy or hot?
I'll say hot. There are a lot of tight ends that, maybe aren't a Kelsey, a Kittle, a Mark Andrews, or myself, that are good, solid players and that can find roles to contribute. I feel like 2 tight end sets could definitely be utilized more.
I love it. I'm such a fan of tight ends. I love the versatility. So completely here for that. All right. Blocking tight ends are a thing of the past.
I'm going hot as well. To be a tight end, I feel like you have to bring a lot of things to the table. You have to be able to block defensive ends in the run game, in the pass game. You got to be able to win against defensive backs in the pass game. So it's like tight ends have to be well-rounded individuals. Certain guys may not get certain opportunities in their offensive scheme based on certain guys who are around them, but I feel like guys that play a tight end position are multi-talented and maybe the most multi-talented on the field.
I agree with you. Most multi-talented, definitely. And you know what? It's great because you can block, you can catch, you can do it all. So I just wanted to ask you, you're a brand ambassador for Icy Hot, and you're joining the squad this week with so many other talented athletes. And I just wanted to ask you, what is that experience like for you?
I'm very excited to be a part of the Icy Hot squad for sure. You got Shaq, who's been with the team for a very long time. You got Rose Lavelle, who's killing on the soccer field. Sloane Stephens, Grand Slam champion, speaks for herself. And then you got me, just athletes across different sports and platforms that, demonstrate resilience in a way and find a way to rise through pain in their own unique way. And so when we come together, It's about inspiring young people to, you know, have a pain management routine for themselves as they go through sports, because it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. And hopefully they can take from us and, you know, write their own stories.
Darren, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate this.